62,000 Palestinians are dead, and in Washington, it is being treated like a boardroom deal. Trump, Kushner, and Tony Blair sat around a polished desk not to stop the killing, but to decide who will control Gaza once the rubble settles. By the end of this video, you will see the truth. This is not peace, it is colonial management. And the question is not what they will decide, the question is whether your silence makes you complicit. If you are tired of being spoon-fed propaganda, if you believe human life is worth more than geopolitical chess, then join this movement. Subscribe now. Not to follow a channel, but to join a community that refuses to let injustice hide behind polished speeches and empty plans. Every new voice here helps push this truth past the censors. Inside that White House meeting, the polished language of investment and day-after planning floated in the air. Kushner and Blair spoke of reconstruction, of making Gaza ripe for foreign investors. But behind the soft words lay the ugly truth, a plan to control Palestinians without ever letting them govern themselves. And then came the question no one could answer: who will actually govern Gaza once Hamas is gone? Silence. That silence is not just strategy, it is exposure. It reveals this entire effort is not about peace, but about management. Do you believe this is about peace or just control? Let me know in the comments. When Trump called in Ron Dermer, Netanyahu's most powerful advisor, the performance shifted. Dermer presented Israel's operational blueprint: attack and occupy Gaza City, flood in a short burst of humanitarian aid, and then hand it off to someone acceptable to Israel's conditions. He promised no permanent occupation, no expulsions. But history tells another story. Every temporary occupation has stretched into decades. Every denial of expulsion has been followed by creeping displacement. So I ask you, how many decades does temporary last? Drop your answer below. Meanwhile, Hamas had already accepted a ceasefire plan negotiated by Qatar and Egypt. The door to peace cracked open. But Netanyahu, with Trump's blessing, is pressing forward with a new offensive. The bombs do not stop, the children do not eat, and yet in Washington the question being asked is not how to end the killing, but how to make Gaza investable. Think about that. They are discussing real estate and contracts while 62,000 people lie dead. That is not diplomacy, that is empire management. You cannot rebuild a graveyard into a democracy. Officials like Steve Witkoff spoke of fixing the food plan, expanding aid distribution, getting this solved. But aid drops do not erase complicity. No ration box can mask the fact that the United States bankrolls this occupation. This is the contradiction that tears at the American soul. You claim to believe in freedom, equality, democracy, yet your government funds apartheid, war crimes, and the erasure of an entire people. Which side of that contradiction are you on? If you are tired of double standards, hit like so this spreads further than their propaganda. Trump himself has said, "I cannot watch it anymore." It is a terrible thing. Yet he backs Netanyahu's offensive, offering him cover to continue. In office, they debate who inherits the ruins. Would you call this humanitarian aid or public relations? Drop your answer in the comments. By the end of this year, Trump's team says the war could end, but their end is not freedom. Their end is an internationally accepted governance structure that excludes Palestinian self-determination. Trump, Kushner, Blair, names that should never decide the fate of a people who never asked for their help and never gave them consent. The truth is simple. The day after Gaza is not theirs to plan. It belongs to the Palestinian people. If this shocked you, comment "Free Palestine" below. Share this with someone who still believes the myth of American neutrality. Like, share, and subscribe. Not for vanity, but because every click, every comment, every share pushes this truth past the censors. Trump's Gaza meeting was not about peace. It was about control. And the only way to break that control is with truth, solidarity, and voices that refuse to stay silent. Do not let silence bury Gaza.